It's early morning in Port Alberni, and I'm boarding the motor vessel Francis Barclay en route to Bamfield on Vancouver Island's west coast. Small steamers like this used to be the best way to get around the west coast, so this trip is like stepping back in time. While the passengers get settled, the cargo is loaded. The ship is still a vital lifeline for many small and remote communities along the coast. Port Alberni sits at the head of the Alberni Inlet and is a deep water port, as well as home to the giant Catalyst paper mill and several sawmills. The Alberni Valley is also home to several farms, including Rage's Farm, where for the past 40 years the Rage family has been supplying Vancouver Islanders with cucumbers. Inside these hothouses, row upon row of cucumbers are growing.
These things can grow about an 1/8 inch long per hour.
Per hour?
Per hour.
So you can almost watch them grow. You can stand there and watch them grow.
You could.
In the hothouse, cucumbers can be grown 9 months of the year. And hothouse cultivation has other benefits too.
We've got a lot of control over pests and a lot of control of the disease. Our whole trick is to, in between crops, the whole plan is to sanitize. And you have to sanitize absolutely everything. Take up all the ground sheet plastic, wash all the greenhouses out, get rid of all your spores, gets rid of all your bugs.
Rage's Farm produces several million cucumbers every year. So when it comes to distribution, they depend on support from local grocery stores, like Country Grocer.
Our big objective is to support all the growers on mainland, and especially right across BC, which I do, right? And Rage's has been a good part of our business for a lot of years now, and it's just the Vancouver Island customers, that's what they want. This is what they, the quality is there, and the constant consistency of product is there. And that's the main objective, is what I try to do, is make sure that we have the product in the stores at all times.
So Rob, apart from Rage's for cucumbers, what other sort of local products are you able to source here on the island?
Well, on Vancouver Island too, there is actually 2 greenhouse growers that I support, Island Hothouse and also Fiesta Greenhouse up in Courtenay. And they supply me with all our hothouse peppers, right? And we also support Gailey's Farm in Sanderson and the Nuggets, and also with our russet potato program comes from the potato grower up in Comox too. And we try to make sure that we have the best quality in our produce departments, and really, like I said, bring to the table as most of every BC produce that I could possibly get my hands on. That's what's in the stores.
I'm aboard the motor vessel Francis Barclay, traveling from Port Alberni to Bamfield on Vancouver Island's west coast. The voyage takes us down the Alberni Inlet, Vancouver Island's longest at 40 kilometers, and the round trip takes about 9 hours, depending on how many stops are made along the way. This is a remote area. The only roads are logging roads, so the ship provides a vital link for all the small communities along the water's edge.
Lady Rose Company has been here since the early 60s, and we carry freight as well as passengers. So there is a road to Bamfield, but West Bamfield does not have road service, so a lot of our freight goes to West Bamfield and smaller communities in between.
Do you operate year-round?
We operate year-round. It can be exciting in here in the winter sometimes.
Exciting. I like that word, exciting.
Our arrival is an event. For Bamfield, this is a crowd. Residents come out to meet the boat, passengers disembark to have a look around, and essential supplies are unloaded. I'm staying at McKay Bay Lodge, so I get a ride with Cheryl McKay. Bamfield is a unique place, a tiny community of about 200 people divided by an inlet. East Bamfield is connected to the rest of the world by logging roads, but West Bamfield can only be reached by boat. A wooden boardwalk meanders along the shores of West Bamfield and is effectively its main street. Walking the only other road, you are as likely to meet a deer or a bear as another person. The road takes you to Brady's Beach, a picture-perfect West Coast beach, just made for chilling out. The ocean here is a rich source of food. As you'd expect, the fishing is fantastic, but there are many other edibles just waiting to be collected. You just have to know where to look, or go looking with an expert like Louis Drouel.
So this is fucus, And it's very common. You look around, you can see a brown band
everywhere.
So that is it. So the tips are very tender. You can just batter these and fry them,
Right.
and there's this nice little crunchy thing.
Yeah.
This green is a form of sea lettuce.
Now, can we eat this raw?
You can eat that raw.
Is that?
I don't know if it'd be very interesting, but if you're going to harvest it for food,
Yeah.
make sure the water's clean.
Right.
So I would not go into Vancouver Harbor with all due respect.
No.
But a place like this or around Tofino, mostly it's okay,
Yeah.
or excellent actually. Number two, remember that some of these plants, they have very long lives. So if you cut them and just cut off the tender bits, that's all you want anyway,
Yeah.
they'll continue to grow. So
Okay.
they can be harvested again and again.
Right.
So this is a typical kelp. It meets all the qualifications.
Oh, okay.
It's big and it's brown.
Big and brown.
The scientific name is egregia, which means remarkable, but its common name is the feather boa.
And it's the good name for it, isn't it?
So you can dance with that one. And again, it's edible. And also here, what you do is you would just cut off the tender bits and just leave the coarse stipe.
Louis harvests kelp commercially for a variety of uses.
It ends up as a sea vegetable that you eat.
Right.
This is just a clean piece of dried kelp.
Okay.
It ends up as a cosmetic component.
Okay.
It ends up as a pharmaceutical component.
Right.
And then all the little trimmings and the scraps end up going into big barrels on organic farms where they extract the micronutrients and spray them on their orchards or whatever.
Back home, the kelp is hung from racks to dry.
And see how different it looks when it's dry?
So this.
This was much bigger,
Okay.
but, and it's really quite yummy when it's first taken down.
Quite Moorish.
Yeah, I know. This is the final product. So we
They come with recipes.
applicable to the type of kelp
Okay.
because they're different.
And here's a new recipe for me. Bull kelp brownies.
These look. Oh, and look at them.
They're,
Moist and
they're
delicious.
yum.
There.
I mean, I was quite pleased. I like them.
As I
Salt
say,
and chocolate.
Salt and chocolate go well together. Well,
That's right.
here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Bull kelp brownies.
Yep.
Ray, inspired.
Good. Good.
Congratulations.
I'm glad you approve.
Thank you.
The food at McKay Bay Lodge is also excellent, thanks to cook Susan Evans.
Today we're going to do a prawn and mango salad. Cook these prawns and we've peeled them. I'm putting our prawns in here and I'm putting in my mangoes.
So about equal parts of prawns and mango.
Equal parts, yeah.
Okay.
2 tablespoons of fresh squeezed lemon juice.
Okay. A little extra lime juice in there
Little
for
extra lime juice.
Beautiful.
2 tablespoons of minced ginger.
Right.
Cilantro.
Okay.
Fresh chopped cilantro. A half a cup of grapeseed oil.
Okay.
And this is shredded coconut. And then we stir this up. Take a little bit of the shredded lettuce. And this actually, the longer it sits, the better it tastes. There you go. One for you and one for me.
And the nice thing with this is you don't actually need cutlery.
No, you don't really.
You can just
We
go
could just
straight
pretend that we could just yum.
McKay Bay Lodge has been in the same family for several generations. I sat down with owner Cheryl to find out more about the lodge and life in Bamfield.
What is it about McKay Bay Lodge and Bamfield that makes this place so darn special?
Well, I came here about 24 years ago, and actually I came here as a nurse originally. I nursed here.
Oh, okay.
And what was so special about it is just that you get away. It's a real remote community. It's got fantastic people here. Everyone's really friendly, and there's great things to do in the community. It might not be for everyone. Like if you want to go to a mall, you're not going to find that in Bamfield.
Right.
Yeah.
McKay Bay Lodge is known probably best for its fishing charters, isn't it?
Yeah, we do a lot of fishing charters. We have 2 guides that have been here quite a while with us. They really know the area well. So fishing is a big part of what we do. I have the kayaks they can use, the hydro bikes, lots of heights. Brady's Beach is absolutely beautiful. Right. There's Pachina Beach. So it's just kind of that place to get away. If the weather's not great, you put on the fire, you watch, look out over the bay. It's just wonderful.
As well as all the outdoor activities you would expect to find here, if you are here at the right time, you can enjoy an amazing music festival. Music by the Sea takes place at the spectacular Rick Center Auditorium, part of the Bamfield Marine Science Center. I asked Artistic Director Christopher Donison what kind of music concertgoers can expect to enjoy.
When you say what can people expect, I don't think anybody's prepared. In fact, I've had people go away from concerts that say to me, Chris, you've ruined it for me for any other concert. And the reason is, here we are in this room. You've got this spectacular ocean backdrop.
I hear a whale visited last night.
A whale was right there last night. And so we're sitting here. We have this company of artists that are all at a very high level. Right. And they're classical, and they're jazz, and one after another, you get them all night long. It's like a smorgasbord. It's like you can't believe that we had that, then we get this, then we get that. And it's the combination of the music, the level that it's performed at, the variety,
right,
and this setting.
Well, I don't know about you, but Bamfield certainly was an eye-opener. What a wonderful place, and the kelp brownies, and those beautiful prawns, and the mango salad. Oh, divine, divine. Today, I am really happy to have with me in the studio Bob McDonald from the CBC.
Happy to be here.
You are the science boffin from the CBC.
Yes, I'm the host of Quirks and Quarks on CBC Radio, and the correspondent for the National, and wear a few other hats.
So you keep everybody educated and informed as to what's going on out there.
I like to think of it as inspiring people. I'm not a teacher. I just want to get people interested in science, because it's never more in our lives than it is right now. You know, it's everywhere, including in the kitchen. There's a lot of chemistry that goes on.
So we're going to have some fun today. We're going to do a classic dish, creme brulee.
Oh, I love it, yes.
So we're going to coagulate proteins.
Yes, we're going
to thicken the cream.
Caramelize some sugar.
And we're going to caramelize the sugar. First thing we need to do, we got a little bit of cream. I've got my burner on over here. Give it a little bit of heat. So we've got about a cup of heavy cream. This is not a low-fat dish.
But it is a dessert.
It is a dessert, and it is delicious, which is the most important part. So that's the first step. Then we got a little vanilla pod, which I'm just going to open up.
Yeah, looks like coffee grounds.
That's right. Yeah. If you actually just want to rub your thumb in there, and you can taste it, it's just a beautiful, rich, pure vanilla flavor.
Wow.
We're just going to throw that in the liquid. There we go. Our cream is up to the boil. I'm just going to turn it down so it stays warm while we do our eggs. So separate our eggs. Okay. Yeah, egg yolk into the half.
You're a pro. Yeah.
And then just flip them back and forth until you get all the white off.
Hey, look
You're
at
a pro. You're a pro. Look at that.
Did I tell you I'm good at breakfast? It's the only meal I know how to cook is a breakfast. Anyway.
Perfect.
Okay.
That's it. There we go. And then we're going to take our eggs into our mixing bowl here. And I'm going to get you to just whisk those. And we just put the other half of our sugar in with that. I'm going to pour the cream in there.
Okay.
Now, this is what I'm just going to give that a little blast into full boil for a second.
I'm glad you let me stand on this side because I'm left-handed. So
Perfect.
This works very well.
Now, if you just want to whisk that as I pour it in.
Okay.
And this is referred to as tempering, because if you add all the liquid very quickly, the heat could potentially coagulate before we get them into our dishes.
Oh, we don't want to cook the egg.
We don't want to cook the egg too quickly at this point.
Still have our vanilla stick in there.
That's fine. That's fine. What we're going to do is we're just going to pour that, if you want to pour that through the strainer, back into my pot, and that way we will strain out that vanilla pod. Okay, now this in itself is sometimes referred to as creme anglaise.
And all that is egg, sugar, and cream.
And cream, yeah.
Right.
So then we've got our white chocolate. There's plenty of heat in here that's going to melt that white chocolate. So we're just going to give that a little bit of a turn there, and I'll give that to you. And all you want to do is just stir that through.
Now, is this supposed to totally?
Yeah. That can just be mixed through, and then eventually that chocolate will just incorporate nice and uniformly. So how long have you been with the CBC, Bob?
Longer than a lot of people have been alive.
Right.
I first started at the CBC in 1976. NASA was sending robots out to Mars. So television and radio programs were calling up, say, hey, can anybody come and talk about these things? So I'd come on and they'd say, wow, you're really good on camera. Do you want to come back? And I said, okay, sure. So I just started doing it. So I kind of fell into my career. I didn't really go to broadcast school or any of that. And in fact, if you don't tell anybody, I actually don't have any science degree myself. I'm a dropout, believe it or not. And it's amazing how quickly you learn when you're scared and when you think you're really dumb and somebody says, can you do this? And you say yes.
A little fear is a wonderful motivator.
Goes a long way, yes.
So that looks pretty good there, Bob. We've got that nicely incorporated. And all we're going to do now is just pour this into our ramekin dishes.
Ooh, very nice.
Just like so. And look at that. See? Portion control to
you got that.
Die for. I've
never
done this before, ever. Okay, and then we want to put some hot water in there. What that does is it tempers the heat from the oven. If you just put these in the oven, you find the exterior of the ramekins get too hot too fast. Right. And the edges of the creme brulee will start to get these little air bubbles with the expanding steam. Ideally about 2/3 up the ramekin. And then we're just going to put a piece of tin foil, just lightly. We don't want to seal it, but we just want to stop any potential browning.
So it seems like slow temperature control.
This is the key. The key for this is slow temperature. And I'm going to throw this into our oven. I'll put it down below, because that one's already set. And that's going to take about 45 to 50 minutes. So Bob, tell me a little bit. I understand you have a children's television program, or you have a program aimed at children?
Yes, I just finished a series called Heads Up, which is all about space and astronomy. And within my lifetime, we have explored our solar system, and I've witnessed that. And it feels like being a passenger on Magellan's ship when the lookout says, land ho! And you go, wow, what's that? And you see these brand new alien worlds, and not just Mars, but there are worlds out there, especially moons of the big planets, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus. These moons are so bizarre. Some of them are covered in ice. Some of them have volcanoes that spew, get this, they spew green crystals that come out and turn into yellow sulfur that snows down on the ground. There's yellow snow on a moon.
I'm going to ask you the $64,000 question. Is there life out there?
I believe there is. Yeah. But we haven't found it yet. Right. That's why we got to keep looking.
Right. Well, Bob, I think that time has come.
A moment of truth.
Moment of truth. Okay. We're going to find out if the coagulating proteins have actually done what we want them to do with the right amount of heat.
Or whether we got to break some more eggs.
Look at that.
Okay.
Now, if we give them just a little...
Are those bubbles? I see?
There are a couple of little bubbles, but if we just give that a little tap, you see how it jiggles?
Yeah.
But it doesn't ripple.
Oh, okay.
If it ripples like a stone in a pond, you're not ready. That means there's still liquid. But you see, we want that little jiggle.
Jiggly, very nice. Okay.
So that's basically. Now what we have to do is let these cool.
Okay.
So we're going to take these out of the hot water, and I'm going to use my asbestos fingers here.
Yikes.
And they are actually hot, but I will just remove those guys from there.
What temperature were you running at there?
That oven was 300.
You know, that's just
Fahrenheit.
that's just about the temperature of the surface of Venus.
So we could make awesome creme brulees on the surface of Venus.
Put them right outside. Yeah, you could cook a pizza there. Yeah, just throw it outside and cook.
See, Venus has its uses.
Yeah.
Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I've got a couple that I've already got made that are already cool. Okay, so this is my cheat. This is my cheat. Now the fun part. Now we get to caramelize some sugar. We get to play with the torch.
Okay.
Okay, so what we're going to do here, and I'll give you one and I'll do one. We're just going to take a little bit of our brown sugar here.
Okay.
And just scatter it over the top.
A little bit. That's
a little bit, about a tablespoon's worth or thereabouts. And then, of course, we've got some of our wonderful Vancouver Island sea salt. And all we're going to do with this is just scatter that into the sugar.
I didn't know there was salt in creme brulee.
There isn't normally. This is my own creation. So we're going to find out whether it actually works or not. And then what we want to do is just very gently, from not too close, just apply that heat to the sugar. Okay, and again, you just got to sort of play with the temperature, get it in, trying not to let it catch fire if I can help it. There we go. And I'm going to give that one to you, Bob, and you can do yours.
All right. Yeah.
So as I say, keep your fingers down to the bottom of the bowl. Yeah, that's it. And just play with that temperature. And if it does catch fire, just blow it out. It's going to be. So here we go. Let's.
Wow. That was amazing. The cream was sort of on the tip of my tongue and in the center, and it was like the salt went right up my jaw, just like that.
Yeah.
Wow,
it's quite an interesting. I'm quite happy with that. I think.
Yeah.
And there we have it. Some of the flavors of Bamfield.
At Vis-a-Vis Wine and Charcuterie Bar, we do offer the Phillips Raspberry Wheat Beer as part of our large bottle beer format. We have chosen to pair this today with the white chocolate creme brulee, as when you're pairing beers with desserts, you really want to make sure that your beer has a higher perceived sweetness level than the dessert itself, therefore not turning the beer bitter. This beer has a really great true raspberry component, finishes nice, crisp, and clean, and the Phillips Raspberry Wheat Beer is part of the 5 Mile Beer Diet here at Vis-a-Vis Wine and Charcuterie Bar.
Creamy, sweet, caramel, crispy, a little bitter. It's all going on. What are we going to do with this?
Well, when I first tasted this initially, I really wanted to bring out some of the nutty character of it. And one of the best ways to do that is to use a sherry. So I decided to bring out the dry sack. This is something you find on the shelves here in BC for I don't know how long. It's been around forever. But it is also one of the most enjoyable glasses of sherry that are on the market. Now, how's your palate feel? Feel clean? Does it feel ready to go?
Clean. Again, it's not syrupy. It's not heavy. It's not cloying.
Exactly. And that's what you want.
Yeah.
That's what you want. So the next one, we're going to go from Spain all the way to just up island to Rocky Creek. This is their blackberry. I mean, blackberries are a pretty common sight around here, but it's really difficult to make a quality blackberry wine because there's so much complexity in the wine. Yeah. And there is as much terroir in blackberries as there are in grapes. But when I tasted this again, I love the way that the blackberry dances on my palate as this is caressing me. It's giving me a nice hug.
And of course, blackberries and white chocolate work so well together as well, don't they? Rod, I'm going to use your word here. That is unctuous.
Unctuous.
Unctuous,
exactly.
you see?
Exactly. Fruit wines, I think the thing that's holding them back is the fact they put the fruit name on it. Yeah. And therefore we are expecting that flavor. Raspberry means raspberry, and only raspberry. Fruit wines can have as much complexity as grape wines do.
Beautiful. Nice pairing. Nice pairing.
Well, we're going to go to a classic here.
Okay.
This is the 6 Grapes port. This is probably the most commonly found port on the market, but it's still a really wonderful port.
Oh, that's juicy. That's a juicy wine.
Yeah, one of the real notes I liked about this particular pairing is that little bit of a vanilla.
Yeah.
There's just a touch of vanilla in here. It's just a kiss of vanilla. As you're getting the gentle hug of the creme brulee, you're just getting this nice little kiss
and that nice
of
vanilla pod we had in there, again, it just, partners, the other side, they just...
It's a marriage made in heaven.
Awesome, awesome. Rod, again, I don't know what to say, but sherry, blackberry wine, port, excellent job. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Flavours of the West Coast is made possible by the generous contributions of the Victoria Pub Company, Country Grocer, and Fortis BC.